What is up, guys? It's Robert Rule of Two Review, and today, a Nintendo and Sega movie? Only hell yes. Okay, so this was completely out of left field, but in the best way possible. In case you weren't aware of the news and you heard my intro, you definitely heard it right. There is apparently, in the works, a movie by Sony Pictures, nonetheless, that is going to be basically recounting the events of the Sega and Nintendo rivalry of the 80s and 90s. So I have to tell you, I've said this a few times, as a 33-year-old gamer who grew up and was 5 years old when the NES came out and basically grew up in that era all the way until today in gaming, this really, really excites me in so many ways I don't even know how to count. There's one or two details about the story and the information that I'm not completely in love with yet, but it could go either way, and so I'm going to kind of touch on all those different factors. So what is it that's really happening? Let's go ahead and get some of the actual details out of the way so we know what it is that they're planning on doing. Like I said, this is Sony Pictures that is producing and creating this movie, which is, of course, funny in its own right, just given the history and the fact that now Sony, the video game side of the video game division of Sony and the PlayStation division, has now basically strict competition with Nintendo currently, and in the past was also with Sega while they were still in the business making consoles for 2 generations. Sega released the Saturn and the Dreamcast in the lifespan, and maybe even the 32X. I can't remember on that one. But either way, those 2 or 3 consoles within the lifespan since the PlayStation brand first came out in '96, which was, when Sony first entered the video game space in the console war. But, and of course, that whole time, Nintendo has been going as competition for Sony, and to this day, they are both still in the industry as competition, as we obviously know. So it's kind of funny that the film division of Sony, which, to be fair, is not the video game division, but the fact that the film industry side of Sony is actually putting this film out is definitely kind of ironic in a really funny kind of way. So what's happening is, there is an upcoming novel, a book that's coming out. It is, as of now, March 1st, 2014. The book is not out. I'm not sure when. I haven't been able to find out. But there's a novel coming out from author Blake Harris. And the book is entitled Console Wars, Sega, Nintendo, and the Battle That Defined a Generation. And it is basically that novel and title that Sony Pictures is going to be adapting. I think it's kind of interesting. The book in and of itself completely interests me just because of what it's obviously about. Although I want to kind of add an amendment to that. I sort of wish that he titled the book, mostly because I feel this is what's more accurate, is The Battle That Defined an Industry. Because the way I see it today, as somebody who's lived through all this, that time of gaming all the way through today, that 80s and 90s battle, that time in gaming, as well as that, specific battle pitting Nintendo versus Sega for so many years, that defined not only just that 8 and 16-bit generation, as well as, the generation of people who were experiencing gaming at the time. I think it defined gaming today as it's relevant. I'm pretty sure that is the time in gaming that set forth all the aspects in motion that brought us to today's gaming. Everything we're still doing has been building on all the events happening, starting with this point that obviously this book and this movie are going to be about. I think it makes it a bigger, more important deal when you consider it the battle that defined an industry more than just a generation. However, I mean, that in and of itself is still true. It did define that generation. And, there's just so much that happened with that, being a 33-year-old gamer and having lived through this at the time that it actually happened, it was detrimental to shaping me as the person that I am today, the gamer and the nerd that I am today, just like I'm sure a lot of you who might be of similar ages and got to experience this in its heyday. I think that it is probably, when I kind of pool my memories together, I think it's the best period in gaming ever, man. I mean, gaming is great nowadays. We've seen a lot of cool advancements and all the different ideas and things happening over the last 30 years. But honestly, this period, to me, when I think back at all the great things that happened throughout all the different years and generations, this was the best, man. This was when gaming was the most fun. It was as pure as it could possibly be. There wasn't the internet and comment threads and forums and places for all these angry, bitter people and gamers to put their shitty opinions out there and start hating and doing this and that. I mean, it was really just gaming is fun. Here's this available. Here's that available. Nintendo does this. Sega does this. All these cool things were happening. And it just felt better. I don't want to get too nostalgic, but it felt better to me. And so it's really cool to think that we're going to get this book and this film now kind of recounting these events. So we know that it's based off of a book. We know it's author Blake Harris, and we know that Sony Pictures is the studio ironically producing the film. Now, the people involved is what's really interesting, and I am on both sides of the fence with the personnel that they're having responsible for this. So interestingly enough, let me see. It's Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. So they're the ones who are writing and directing the film. They're responsible for, you know, like Pineapple Express. And just recently, This Is the End, which I never saw, sadly, even though I wanted to. You know, and it's Seth Rogen. I mean, we know who he is. We know the kind of comedian and writer and director he is, you know. Here's the weird thing is I actually like Seth Rogen quite a bit, you know, and I liked Pineapple Express for what it was, you know. Haven't been a pothead in many years, but I appreciated the humor in Pineapple Express. And I think that those guys are both really clever and funny. And as someone who doesn't love the comedy genre, I still have enjoyed the stuff I've seen from both of those guys, both together and separately. And so it's interesting when I think about them making this movie because, you know, on the surface, it kind of seems like, oh, they might be perfect to make this kind of movie because it's Sega Nintendo and it's video games and it's goofy and it's silly and ha ha ha. But there's somebody else involved that I need to find this person's name. Oh, shoot. I just can't find his name. But he was oh, here we go. The author, Blake Harris, he's executive producer of the film, which is really interesting. You know, while we have Goldberg and Rogen actually writing and directing. And then Scott Rudin, who is somebody who produced The Social Network, is going to be actual producer on the film. So that leads me to the point I was basically trying to get at there is even though I like Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, they might... You think about them making this a certain kind of film, and honestly, the way I could see the story playing out is I would want it to be more akin to something like The Social Network. I would like it if it was more of a kind of a serious drama. And the fact that we have Scott Rudin coming on to produce the film, who helped, you know, bring The Social Network out, which was an amazing movie, I'm really hoping that between his previous history with The Social Network and that kind of film, and, you know, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg's talent and their intelligence, and the fact that I think comedically they can probably still make a pretty darn good drama if they were asked to, that we might be getting a really good combination overall. I want this movie to be taken, yes, it can be fun and funny and silly, but I also kind of want it to be taken seriously, you know, for a few reasons, mostly because it's near and dear to me. You know, Nintendo is my favorite gaming company, period. So it's interesting to get a story about this. Not to mention, as I was talking about earlier in the video, is that I really cared about this time in gaming, and gaming as a whole is important to me. Like, it's fun and it's a hobby and it's games, yes, but it's serious. That's why I have this internet show, and to most of you listening, it's probably serious, and it's why you might even find my show and why you play games and do all that stuff. So, and you know, I think that the events and the material is sensitive enough that they could and should treat it respectfully and tastefully and make it that kind of drama. So, you know, we could be seeing the goofy kind of fun aspect of all these nerdy gamers learning that Mario is cool and then Sonic is cool and then, you know, other things are cool. Oh, it's kind of goofy and just a big old fun, you know, game fest, and that could be neat. Or it could be something where we're really learning about the backroom dealings and the business sides and the, you know, the hostile takeovers and maybe things like that. Really cool things where we get to know some of the people who would have been involved. Interestingly enough, Miyamoto, you got to think, is going to be portrayed by somebody and a character in this film. I mean, I don't know. We don't know. We don't know exactly how the story is supposed to play out, what aspects are being told through the book, and then, of course, henceforth, subsequently through the film. It's going to be really interesting to see once we get more details. I think that it really just comes down to, you know, what kind of movie it's going to be. I really want to find out when this book is going to come out because I'd like to read it before the movie comes out. I don't know if there's any sort of time frame right now for when the film is supposed to come out, when they're supposed to cast and start working on it. But it's such a cool concept that I wanted to kind of bring it up, talk about it a little bit, my excitement, my feelings, you know, my few reservations, and see what it is you guys think. So those are my thoughts and feelings on this really cool upcoming Sega versus Nintendo movie. There's one more thing I wanted to bring up before the episode is over today, and that's kind of a little bit of a call to arms, and that is to you guys, my followers and listeners and viewers and subscribers, you know, the few of you. There's not a whole lot of you yet. The channel's only been going for now, I think, 4 months almost, so it's pretty new, you know, been doing okay. But this is important to me, Rule of Two Review, and this news and video channel, and the Let's Plays I'm starting to do with Chad, and the things we'll move forward doing. It's really important to me. I'm trying to do a lot with this. I'm hoping that you guys dig it. I mostly get positive feedback, you know? I get the occasional internet troll, and that's okay. That kind of makes you feel more successful when that happens. But I'm hoping that to any of you who have been, you know, kind of slowly picking up and following this and, you know, sharing the video and doing whatever, I really hope that that means that you enjoy it. I hope that that means you're already subscribing. If you are, my call to arms is for you to help out. I'm trying to build this into a bigger business and do a lot more with Rule of Two Review and do these more often. Hell, I wouldn't even mind making it my day job and being something like, you know, like how Angry Joe and the Angry Video Game Nerd and people like that get to do that stuff for a living. I'm not trying to become rich off this, so don't mistake that, but I would like it if I could do this for a living. Regardless, that's less of the purpose. I really just want this to be able to get to as many people as possible, whatever that means. So I'm trying to grow my subscribers, grow the people following the Facebook, cool things like that. If you enjoy what it is that I am doing and we are doing here on the channel, between the news and the Let's Plays and all that stuff, please share it, let people know about it, try to help other people get subscribed to the channel. The more people following and paying attention, you know, the better we feel, of course. It's just a lot of fun. I am a super passionate, nerdy gamer and movie fan, just like I'm sure you are, and I like being able to share that passion with you, assuming that you like listening to it. Not everyone is going to like my show or my opinions, and that's totally okay, in which case you don't have to worry about it, you know? Find the things that you do care about and the people who you do appreciate their opinions. But if I am somebody who you have enjoyed or think you would going forward, you know, do everything that you can, maybe if you don't mind, to try to help and spread the word. I'm going to start doing some contests. Obviously, the first goal I'd like to hit that I'll kind of offer a reward out to you guys would be if I hit 100 subscribers. I think I'm at almost 70 as of the time of this recording, so it's not too far off. So if we get to 100 subscribers in the next few weeks, which would be awesome. I mean, that would just feel great for myself and for Chad. That would be amazing. And I'm going to go ahead and do a contest, and I'm going to give out something for free, you know? And that's if, you know, we get the Facebook likes up and the people following on Twitter, you know, that would be really fantastic. I always have a link to the Facebook page below. And of course, on Twitter, you can find it at Rule of Two Review, as well as with my name, Robert Barnett. You know, any one of those two, you're going to find it. So yeah, that's really just kind of it, guys. You know, this is a lot of fun, and the more people following, the better off I feel, and the more I can do for you guys and share my opinions and make these videos, assuming that you like it, which I hope you do. So if you have the ability to kind of help out, try to get us to 100 subscribers in the next few weeks, you know, I'll start doing some contests and giving out some free stuff to you guys, you know, gaming or movie related. I'll find some cool things to make it worth your guys' while, because it's worth it to me and to Chad to get as many subscribers as possible, and hopefully worth it to you guys to win some free stuff for that and be able to keep helping Rule of Two Review go and grow a little bit more and be able to do more cool videos and stuff for you guys. So, you know, for all of you who do watch and follow and subscribe and like the videos and everything that I do, thank you so much. You know, it means so much to have even 60 or 70 just in the first 3 months. That's really freaking cool. Feels good to me. So yeah, thanks for everything. You guys are really, really awesome. And if you manage to spread the word, even better. Thank you. Okay, public service announcement and shameless self-plug over. That's all my news and information and opinions on the Nintendo and Sega movie for today. As I had said earlier, if you guys like what I'm doing, please feel free to subscribe, like, and share the video, and share any comments or thoughts you might have below. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you next time.